We'll start to approach this journey now from the technology point of view. We'll try to see how some things are already implemented, and I will start with Mr. Merkel. Operating in Europe, I will expect huge level of automation, huge level of innovations.
Well, for us, the question of automation, I mean, for me, it's clear the machine manufacturers are producing their machines for their customers, and the big customers are not in Europe anymore. They are in India or China or everywhere where the production takes place. So I didn't expect much progress on automation. Okay, I would expect and see some with artificial intelligence. Okay, there might be some aspects. For us, of course, the machine itself is only one part of what is needed to have a new product. But it's well, first of all, our strategy is we are buying machines from Saurer Ritter, where all the well-known machine manufacturers. But what makes us special is we have an own auto engineering team, meaning we are tuning our machines. I always compare it like when you buy a Volkswagen Golf. Our team makes more horsepower to it, and and this is for us the basis for innovation. When we buy the machine from the machine manufacturer and we use the innovation from the machine manufacturer, it makes us not unique. So our strategy is being unique, being different than the others, and we have to create our own way.
Can you give us an example of such an innovation that you may have in your spinning wheel?
Well, one example is we were a few years ago the first spinning mill that was buying the spin-it machine, meaning spinning and knitting at the same time. Our engineering department even tuned that machine. By that time, the machine was only focused on cotton staple, 38 millimeters. So our engineering team took away the complete top part of the machine. We invented a new drafting system for a 52 millimeter staple to be able to run with technical fibers. Yeah, nowadays we have 2 patents applying for special products that run out of that machine. So this is one example how we do things and try to be different than the others.
Very good, very good. So following a little bit the journey of the quality of the yarn and recognizing that actually in the recycled part and the production of the recycled yarn, there is still potential, but still steps are made. Can you tell us a little bit about how technology supported on that?
Yes, I mean, we have a lot of requirements, and this is a perfect new field for Uster. That is clear, the whole recycling. There is a lot of standards to be established, as we discussed earlier today, and in respect to technology as well. I mean, it's boring. I say this every time. I'm doing this now 8 years with this recycling or the cotton and cotton poly short staple recycling, and the train is still in the station. There's a lot of things have happened, but it's still time to get on for everybody, for the machine makers, for you as the quality control specialist. And we are at the very beginning. And this is, of course, for all of you as well in your markets. And I see the biggest potential in a team establishing these standards. Also, together, the know-how base where the machinery, where the equipment is being made and developed, that is very important because, again, it goes back to the point, how can we make the brands trust these products and pay for these products? And this we have to achieve together with technology, with standards, and yes, with quality control. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And when we say about technology, we know that there needs to be several steps in order to reach to a good quality for a recycled yarn. Do you see right now that the technology is an enabler of that, or it is almost a barrier?
Well, it's the technology is basically the same as you do with virgin cotton, but we need modifications. We need special. We need to adapt processes to make it better for the recycling, for the recycled material. That is clear. And there, yes, slowly, the big players in this field are catching up now, are coming, yes, because it's obviously when we push these things with our recycling system and we say we need this and this from your machine to improve our final product, that is different than if the pressure comes from the market. When their customers say, we want to do now recycle, we want to work with different fibers, we need this and this and this from you. And that is now happening, and this helps us a lot too.
Very good. Will, I think you are actually one of the main experts on that. How technology is actually pushing in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's again also, I mean, for me, when we talk about the recycling, actually, it's first of all going back to that technology we already have and again, testing it. I think it was something which I find quite interesting in a way, and it's a little bit boring, actually, but I think, so you have a new fiber or a new raw material, and basically you start from scratch. I mean, also with what you already have. So basically you can just go through the whole line of spinning, and I think you find a lot of good possibilities to reuse that maybe in some or the other way, or that you need an additional step of this. But in a way, it's really going back into that basic work of learning how to spin. Yeah, so that's the first thing. And of course, you need to measure a lot. I think this is really important. I think we have talked about that standards and how to measure, especially that material. I think that is really also something that we see as important. But I mean, that connection of testing something, getting a result and improving that is still the very basic thing of what we do. I think probably also what you do in your mills on R&D side every day. Yeah, and that is, I mean, with all these new materials, it is there again.
Even more.
And in a way, I believe also we already have the technology we need basically to deal with all these fibers in the future. Yeah. But, yeah.
Yes,
please. Yeah.
When it comes to automation, though,
yeah.
Because we said about automation, and it was the discussion that okay, in Europe maybe the automation is expected to be high, but to be honest, what we received in our first day in our interactive session with our customers here, it was automation. We need automation. It is a clear requirement.
Yeah.
How do you see that automation will be somehow implemented in the textile industry in the next period of time?
I mean, we are for sure pushing that, and everybody else is talking about it. I think there's a clear understanding from the market. At the same time, I think there's still different things happening at the same time as always. I think on one hand, you say, we maybe need to be more flexible in the future. On the other hand, you say, okay, I need more automation, which maybe not goes hand in hand, right? Often if I just connect all these lines together, probably you're not ending up more flexible. So I think this is something to think about. And so, I mean, so connection between machine is one thing. I think where it really becomes interesting to automate probably is on the machine itself. I think also when I started, I can remember on that comber, I was saying, I mean, maybe it's a little difficult to change that main draft and break draft distance setting of that comber. And my mechanical guy said, yeah, but nobody will ever touch it. Right? We said it once during installation and that it will run like that the whole time. Now, I mean, if this is going to change and you will have smaller lots and more material change and all of that, I think this is where we really have to think about making these machines more flexible and easier to adapt. And then you always need to measure again, right? I think so. It will become much more important to measure more and have these machines being adaptable.
Taking the input from Oswald that we should create the future, what do you think is a main enabler if we want to start this future today?
Working together. I think really working together, discussing the things together, putting information together, and in the end, yeah, so that everybody can then, I think it's still, and I also agree on that the spinning mills also, they have to do extra work, So I don't think that it's maybe our belief in a way, and so obviously we say retail will just put you everything there in place and you are the best. But obviously then everybody is the best, so there still needs to be room for finding your own way and improving that. Yeah.
I see Mr. Hutter waving the hand,
I
agree in a way.
I would like to add, especially for Uster, in the future, it is very important fiber standards, pre-consumer, post-consumer recycling. There we have to establish together fiber standards. You have the equipment, you use it since decades on the Virgin, but we have to adapt it for these recycled markets which are establishing. We have complete different requirements on the industrial side compared to the post-consumer side. You have colors involved, you have different blends involved. So their equipment and standards are required. And then, 200 plus years trying to get the best yarns out of the machines, testing the best possible yarns. Here, the philosophy has to change too, because we work in the future on the recycling side with average material. We never have the top material. We have more likely medium and low quality material. So we have to define, and that is also, in my opinion, a major role for Uster, together with all the technology partners. We have to define bandwidths. Different bandwidths in recycling, different standards. And for this is, in my opinion, for everyone, a huge market potential in the future.
Very good. Mr. Franz, question about automation. I'm pretty sure it's touching also the next step. So it's also touching the customers of our customers. How do you see the involvement of it in the next years?
Definitely we do that. We do not have a spinning mill, but nevertheless we have a production. And on the one hand side, we have to keep the flexibility, as you already mentioned. On the other hand side, we need to do the automation. Also, we have a project team in our company. For example, we have some unloading the wet cones from the dyeing machine, for example. This is a very, very difficult task where people get ill, where people have problems with the back. There we are thinking about new systems in our own production. On the other hand side, being in touch with the spinning mills on that horizontal level, giving our experience what could be done, for example, with technical fibers to improve their process. For example, for us is a question, is it necessary to buy always these very, very long machines? Could it sometimes be better to buy a shorter, for example, open end or ring spinning machine to increase the automation? Because I'm fully booked on that machine. I do not have to change it so often. And there has to be a lot of trust between the spinning mills and their customers and vice versa. At the end of the day, the traders have to bring the orders or the customers has to bring the orders. That is, in my point of view, very, very important for the future.
So you see the automation reaching a level that it's not disturbing the flexibility, more or less. You want to maintain the flexibility, but still having automation in the maximum extent.
We need to sell, at the end of the day, our products on the European market. And there we need the automation, but flexibility is at least as important as automation, because otherwise we do not have customers anymore if we are not flexible.
I assume, Mr. Merkel, for you, this balance is somehow well established in the mill.
Yeah, absolutely. For us, flexibility is number one. With automation, we will not win the war. Of course, we have a highly automated spinning mill, yes. But this is just a help to produce the yarns at a little bit lower cost. Of course, we have the same topic as everyone else in the market. Qualified workers is hard to get, especially in our market. We also have to pay relatively higher salaries. We're right in the middle of where Porsche, Mercedes, all these well-known companies are, and they are paying a fortune to their workers. And so we have to keep up. So automation, of course, is important, but it's for me, flexibility is more important, is even higher, because we have to fulfill the wishes and the demand of our customers. And our customers at the moment ask for niche products, for smaller products. The products at low prices, at high volumes, are not produced in Europe anymore.